Hello and welcome to America's Got Podcast. I am Cody Mims, and here with me today is Cody Patterson.
Hello.
He has swooped in to save the day after listening to the show. So yeah, hello. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So for this episode of the podcast, we are just going to be discussing episode 10 of this season, which was the final week of Judges Cuts, featuring that Louis guy from One Direction. And yeah, what did you think overall of this episode and this night?
I was kind of 50-50 on it. We had some good acts, but as they showed in the clips, there were some pretty bad acts.
Yeah, there's some big highs and some big lows.
Yes. But I did have some that I really liked, and I did have some that I didn't like so much.
Yeah, I think going into this Judges Cuts this season turned out to be sort of like better than I thought it was act wise. Some people really impressed me.
Yeah, same here.
Well, anyway, let's get right to it. We started off with Throwings, who was the couple who throws themselves around on that swing. Well, it's not a swing; they make their own swing. It's pretty intense. What did you think of them?
I like them. The guy kind of stands in the swing and throws her up, does some acrobatics. I think she did some blindfolded. Is that right?
Yeah.
Uh, I think they kind of need to do something a little bit different. I really like this, but I think they need to step it up a little bit for the next round.
Okay, sure. I mean, I can see how you would think that. I don't know if the blindfold really made it that much more difficult for her, but it was an interesting element to it. I thought the throws were very intense. Um, I liked when the camera moved with them. I don't know. I overall liked the act. It gave me a good feeling.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Next, we had Campbell Walker Fields, who I guess was never televised in auditions, right?
I don't believe so. I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah. I don't really remember ever having a singer on this show that sounds like him, honestly. I thought he sounded very original. I liked his deep voice. I thought it was a cool sound.
Yeah, he sang "A Thousand Years" by Christina Perry.
I
Is that
love
right?
that song.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that song, but from what I could tell, he did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought he did a great job. I wish we could have seen his audition, and I mean, we'll get to it later, but I wish we could have seen more of him.
Yeah, Louis and Simon seemed to like it pretty well, so
Hmm.
um, we'll see.
Yeah. Then we had Flip, which was this group of girl dancers, and I really like this.
Yeah, I'm not too big on the dancing groups or individuals this year. That's just my personal thing. I'm just not real high on them. I think they're okay, but I think there's much better acts out there.
Yeah, well, they were talking about in this episode how they hadn't picked any dance groups yet. And that sort of worried me because I have enjoyed seeing the dance groups in the past, but luckily one did go through. But Flip in particular, I really liked. I thought they were great showing the delicate style of their dancing at first, as well as the more intense parts. So I like this act.
Yeah, they were okay. They're all right.
Then we had Shane and Shawnee, who was pretty much just a dancing couple, I guess. They didn't really blow me away.
Yeah, they did some ballroom dancing. I think that's kind of their thing is ballroom dancing. They again, it's another dancing group. They were pretty good. Again, like you said, nothing that really blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
To me, dancing is dancing. I don't really see anything different between the dancers.
Well, I think all this was sort of building up to the next dance group we saw, which was the Outlaws. And I actually wasn't as big a fan of this one as I was Flip.
Yeah, I think Simon said that he really liked them, but they look like they have a good backstory. Look like they're a good group of buddies, but their dancing didn't seem nearly as good as Flip did.
Yeah, I
It
thought
just
it
didn't.
was. What's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say it didn't look as crisp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so too. But I thought it was smart of them to try to put the focus on one guy. Did you notice that? Like one of them wasn't wearing a hat, and they sort of highlighted him in the beginning video.
No, I didn't notice that. The only thing I really noticed about their act is it started off kind of bland, and then it really went into this spotlight
Yeah.
where each one of them kind of got to do a little thing. I didn't notice that one particular dancer got singled out amongst the others.
Well, yeah, the Spotlight thing kind of reminded me of like Zero A and some of those kind of groups. Did you get any
Uh,
sort of vibe with that?
no, I don't remember them at all.
No, they
Sorry.
didn't. They didn't go that far. I know people will
Okay.
go crazy when I mention Zero A because they were like robbed according to the cult of Zero A. But uh,
If they were within the last few seasons, I didn't watch anything past, what are we in, 11? I didn't watch anything past 7.
oh,
So I haven't
okay.
seen 8, 9, or 10.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we got Ari Hill, who was a singer. I thought she was fine, but otherwise pretty boring.
Yeah, she had an abbreviated performance,
Mm-hmm.
and AGT seems to like to do this edited, abbreviated performance. And it kind of gives a hint of they're not going to go very far, or we didn't see
Yeah.
them in the auditions. So I didn't have a good feeling about her when she did when she sang "The Wanderer," another song I wasn't. No, I'm familiar with "The Wanderer" by Dion.
Mm-hmm. Well, after that, we saw Avalie Martin, who I liked that she did an original song, but I didn't think that she sounded all that great.
No, I didn't either. Again, another abbreviated edit by AGT.
Mm-hmm. And then we got to the golden buzzer of the night, Jana Brown.
Yeah, that was a little surprising.
Mm-hmm. Um, I didn't like this song that much.
This is another song I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah, I thought she had a pretty mature voice, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I think I've got that in my notes that it sounded like she'd been singing this for a long time when she's only 14 years old.
That is true, absolutely. She was very excited about her golden buzzer. She ran off the stage.
Do you think she was deserving of the golden buzzer?
She definitely would not have been my pick tonight,
Yeah,
but she's a very talented singer, so deserving, I suppose so. I mean, it's yet another singer, which I
yeah,
don't really enjoy, but
yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I like seeing the different types of acts, not singing acts or dancing acts, but the kind of crazy specialty types of acts.
yeah. And also, the golden buzzer doesn't do a whole lot in this stage. It's just like having a little bit of power over the regular judges, advancing whoever you want one round.
Do you like seeing a person receiving the golden buzzer that is good enough to go to the next round, or maybe is not good enough, but we want to see in the next round?
Um, I think my pick would be somebody who the judge thinks is talented, but is sort of like a controversial choice.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I would agree with that. Someone that you're not for sure is going to go through, and you want to guarantee that they get to go through.
yeah, but I think in the judges' minds they want their golden buzzer to win, so it's sort
Yeah,
of different.
yeah, I could see that.
I think if I was a guest judge in these judges' cuts rounds, honestly, I probably would prefer not to use my golden buzzer at all. But I don't know if that's even allowed or whatever.
You would just pass completely on the golden buzzer.
Yeah, just deliberate on it later. I mean, you have to make an early decision without seeing everyone. If you could save it, that'd be best. But
That is true. Yeah, you're doing it, and maybe you haven't seen. It could have been the first act, and you really liked it, and you hadn't seen the other 19 acts yet.
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be terrible to like do it in the results part of it when everybody's all nervous going up on stage to hear how they did, and then guy just slaps that golden buzzer. But the guest judges aren't even out there for that part anyway.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah, the people on the ends of the show probably sort of have a disadvantage, like you're saying, with, they're not going to want to hit it too soon or too late.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
Then we saw this great package of John and Nathan.
Yes,
Uh,
I love these guys.
yeah, I think they should do a collab. They're very cute in their intro.
You have is it the oldest and the youngest?
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's how they were putting them together.
I guess 6 years old is the youngest out there.
So anyway, the first talent we saw was John Hetlinger, and I sort of agree with Heidi's comment that she can't detect his talent.
Well, his talent is he sings death metal at 82 years old.
Yeah, I mean, in his audition, he wasn't really even on the beat though, so I'm not a great judge of death metal singing, but
Yeah. I think it's a good act. I have in my notes here that I just don't think it's Vegas material. I think it's fun to watch. I just don't know if I would go to Vegas and watch it for an hour and a half.
yeah, he'd probably be more successful on YouTube or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah, I wasn't such a fan of Simon's reaction either. That seems a little over the top.
Yeah, Simon loves this guy.
Yeah, that must have been weird for Louis sitting right there. Simon pretty much probably praises them equally.
Yeah. And John probably has no idea who Louis is.
My mom also noticed at this point that Howie hadn't said a word, which was kind of weird. Howie was pretty quiet all night.
Yeah, I didn't quite notice that, but now that you mention it, um, he was pretty quiet throughout the night.
I'm sure he'll be speaking up a lot next week, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we saw Nathan Boxstaller. He was pretty cute all around. I liked how he was just like One Direction is awesome.
Yeah. He
Um,
probably doesn't even know who that One Direction is either.
yeah, what did you think of his comedy stylings?
I like him. I think he's funny. He tells jokes from the perspective of a 6 year old.
That's
He
true.
doesn't really tell jokes that are above his age. Everything is very on point for how a 6 year old sees things. So I think it's great.
Okay, I wasn't such a fan. I think his timing is just really weird. It kind of sounded like "How gullible do you think I am" was supposed to be a punchline. Um, and I'm not really a big fan of his little kid jokes either. I mean, I don't know. I guess he was sort of looking at like bringing adults into it too, showing his perspective on them. So it was interesting to see him try something a little bit new, but I wasn't too big a fan of his material. Basically, I thought he was a lot funnier outside of his act.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like sort of his natural cuteness and not really trying too hard. That's the best part about the kid's perspective. I think. I don't know.
I think Heidi also commented on his timing as well.
Hmm.
And when any of the judges would make a comment, he did have some pretty good comebacks.
That's true.
So if he did improv, he would probably do really well.
Oh, I would love to see him do improv. Yeah. Then we had Victor Key. I was very happy with this performance. What did you think of it?
Um, it's kind of I'm kind of 50-50 on Victor. I really like the story that talked about his brother, and he kind of brought that into his act. I thought that was really good.
Hmm.
Um, he is a good juggler. I'm not for sure if we've seen anything yet that he could do in Vegas for an extended period of time. He's now done the drop the balls from the ceiling twice, which is really impressive. But I think he's going to need to kind of do something else if he's going to try to move on.
Yeah, that's true. This one wasn't as flashy as last time. Um, so I think it was sort of showing more dynamics of his performance. I guess you could sort of compare it to Derek, the magician from last year, and this bedtime story act. But I really liked this one. I thought, he made a real production out of it, and it felt like his costume made sense this time, and it wasn't so weird and out of place. And he did a great job going with the music. Um, yeah, I also liked the tricks he did. I liked how there were five balls falling from the ceiling, and he threw up like a lot at once. It was great, and it was good to see him flex his dancer moves because I could tell last time that he was a dancer, and it's cool to see all that come out.
Yeah, I'd really like to see more of what he has, though.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Next, we had Sauce and Victoria, and this is a quick change thing. How do you feel about this whole quick change act structure and how they did it this time?
I kind of like the quick change. I think their audition was better than this performance. I didn't really care much for the magic, but I know that they were kind of trying to bring more of that in based on the feedback they received. Was it from Simon or from Heidi?
It was Simon. They all blamed him for it.
Yeah. Um, I do like the quick change stuff. I've been reading that there are a lot of quick change illusionists and magicians out there, but I like that he designs the outfits.
Yeah.
I think that really adds something to it.
Yeah, they didn't mention
And
that this time.
no, he didn't mention it this time. He did mention it in the auditions. So I really like that that's kind of part of their act. But they've also now done the, at the end, the, not, what's not the sparklies, but the confetti quick change. They've done that twice now.
Yeah.
So I'm about 50-50 on it. I do like quick change, but I think it needs more.
Yeah, I thought they innovated on the staging this time, which was good because, as Austin said a few weeks ago, a lot of these acts look exactly the same. But I did think this performance was a bit slower. And also, is everyone going to make the same joke about this act? Because Louis tonight was like, man, if my girlfriend could get ready that fast or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. It did seem slower. You're right.
Yeah, anyway, next we had John Bernhardt. Really, all I have to say about this is to the judges. I mean, look into the future and don't put these kinds of acts through. But I don't
It
know.
was it was a nice. I'm sorry. It was a nice novelty in the auditions.
Mm-hmm.
It totally bombed in this one.
Yeah, it would have been especially difficult if this was still like the old Vegas week format and there was like silence from the crowds. But I guess we're sort of silent anyway.
Yeah, people really liked the audition just because it was different.
Yeah, and he was really sort of rocking out with it. I don't know how heavy he got this time.
Yeah, it just seemed to really crash and burn this time.
So that was unfortunate. Not the biggest crash and burn of this round, but
Yeah, but
so
he did get 4 buzzers.
yeah.
First time I've ever seen multiple buzzers in a non-audition round.
Uh-huh.
So, but and to get 4 of them, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, instant sending home.
Yes.
Next there was Jonathan Nosen, the contortionist. I'm still not really wowed by this, but what do you think of it?
I don't remember him from the auditions. Did we see his audition?
Yeah, well, he was dressed very differently.
That's what I thought, and I think they commented on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That he was dressed differently, and I didn't really get anything from it. I was watching it, and I think I only saw him do 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, this was very like cut down. I think they made it seem like it did a lot less than he actually did, but I, I don't think it changes my opinion on it that much.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all.
Next, there was the second instant shopping block of the night, and the amazing Armando. This guy was super weird. His personality seemed sort of fake to me. I don't know. What did you think?
Uh, I I didn't really write much in my notes, so apparently he didn't really have much of an impact with me.
Yeah, he was the magician who got Mel up there, I think, and like pulled a bird out or something.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. All I have in my notes is he got 4 buzzers,
Mm-hmm.
and even Louie pressed pressed her buzzer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then we saw musicality again. How do they impact your life?
They're good. I have written down that they need to not have the director.
Oh really?
Yes. I know that the director is an important part of the group, that he brought the group together, but every other act doesn't have someone standing down there directing. And I think for if they're going to do more, they need to be able to do it on their own in the performances. And I think that would make it much more impressive.
So you're saying it's not about like staging or whatever, but more about they're using him like a crutch?
I think so. I think and the camera keeps showing him, and I think that it would be more impressive if they were able to do the performances without having the director down there giving them cues.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. I never would have thought it like that, but yeah. I didn't think they had very strong soloists this time. But the guy who got emotional in the audition sounded fantastic. And I can't wait till that guy's a soloist.
Yeah, I think there's some of them in the group that have a bright future,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's a great story what they're doing,
Hmm.
and maybe one time maybe they can come back and do it again.
Yeah. Then we had Oksana Grishina. I don't know if that's how you say it, but sort of like a strength act, sort of a dance act.
Yeah, did we see her audition? Because I don't
No,
remember
I
her
don't
from the
remember that one.
auditions. Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought it was pretty impressive, but that's all. It was another abbreviated performance by AGT, or an edit, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't like this one that much. I'm not sure we really saw enough to get on board with whatever she was doing and understand it really.
It seemed a mix between regular dancing and like martial arts.
Uh huh. Anyway, next we saw the Baron of the Universe. Um, I like his character.
Yeah, I do. I do too. He really gets into it.
Um, I'm not sure I enjoy watching this that much. Just sort of I don't know. It's sort of like a cringe thing, I guess.
This is the type of acts that I really love.
Okay.
I mean, not like disgusting type acts. I'm just talking weird. Uh, Not many people do them. They're really unique, original. I
Yeah.
love these types of acts, and there's probably no end of things that he could pull with his nipples.
Yeah. While we were watching this, all I could think of was like, where's that guy who pulled a car with a sword in his mouth? Do
Yes,
you remember that guy from auditions?
I do remember that guy. I was missing some acts in the after the shows were all over. I thought I didn't see this act or I didn't see that act, so I went online to kind of do some research and found out there was a whole bunch of acts that were put through but didn't get to perform in the judges' cuts.
I
Do you
hate
remember
that.
do you remember the Japanese group with the drones?
No. Oh my god, I
Yeah,
forgot about them.
Russian Bar.
Oh no.
There
Russian
was
Bar
probably a
too?
list. Yes, there was a list of like 20 groups. If you
Oh,
go out and
this
look
is
at the AGT,
terrible.
yeah, if you go out and look at the AGT Reddit, they have a whole list of them,
Oh,
and
this.
they say that there's this cut between. I'm kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit.
I'm gonna look this up.
There's a cut between auditions and judges' cuts where producers can just say, thank you, but you did great, but we're not going to move you through. Or even if the act said, we have a commitment we can't get out of and we just can't be there for judges' cuts, then they just bow out and move on. But there were several good acts in that list that did not get to come to judges' cuts.
That is sad.
It's very sad.
That drones act was seriously like my favorite one.
Yes, my wife really likes that one too. I mean, she's real big into Japanese stuff, and uh, when I showed her that, she was very impressed. And then I told her that they didn't even get to move on to judges' cut. She was very sad about
Uh,
that.
okay, where is this list?
If you just do a search for AGT Reddit, then
Yeah.
it's like one of the first few threads on there.
For
A lot of people are,
anyone.
yeah, a lot of people are saying, "What happened to this person?" or "What happened to this person?"
Okay, anyone who know what happened to the Russian bar trio. I'm gonna look
Right.
at this. There's also one that says for anyone who didn't see the wild cards before they get deleted off the NBC website. So I guess there's 3X coming back.
There are three wild cards that are coming back. I've already seen who they are, but I'm not going to spoiler alert
Okay.
in this podcast.
Well, I don't really know. Why is that a spoiler? Like, is this a judge's pick that's going to be revealed?
Yes, I believe it will be a judge's pick that will be revealed in the live show.
Oh, okay.
So they mistakenly put those three, or on purpose, put them out there very briefly in the list of acts that are in the live shows, but they are no longer listed amongst the acts now.
Okay.
So they're either uh, purposely put there as teasers or accidentally put there. But yes, there will be three acts coming back.
Let's talk about this at the end of our podcast now so people can not listen if they don't want to.
Yeah, we can do a spoiler at the end. That's fine.
Okay, so I'm on this thread. Anyone who know what happened to the Russian bar trio? Um, and then Saint Major Kululu says, Same happened to 11 Play and Patrick and Ginger. Who is Patrick and Ginger?
I don't remember who Patrick and Ginger were. There were several of them on there that I didn't recognize or remember.
Was this an animal one?
Yeah, there was another dog act in there.
Patrick and Ginger is a dog act, yes.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that dog act.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That was the guy with severe OCD that his dog helped him with, I guess.
So that's not the same as Jose and Carrie?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't super thrilled about that one, but
No, I
oh
wasn't either.
man. Russian Bar and 11 Play. That's sad.
Yes, that is very sad.
Man, whoever runs the AGT wiki does such a good job.
They do. They do a good
Apparently,
job.
this is where that information is coming from. So, yeah, maybe there's more info on that I can search for later. I don't know. What were we talking about again?
I think we were talking about the Baron, and
Yeah.
we kind of got sidetracked from that.
So maybe that guy who pulled the car with the sword in his mouth is another one of those. I don't know.
Yeah, he must be.
Okay. Speaking of weird changes to the show, did you notice that AGT seems to have a new theme song now?
No. Again, I haven't watched in a few seasons.
Okay,
The last
yeah.
season that I watched, Olate Dogs won.
Mhm.
So I decided to take some time off from AGT after that. That was the
Okay.
year that had the Earth Harp and Jose
Yeah.
Castillo, and there was a comedian that was just great, and then Olate Dogs won. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm done with this for a while, and
I'm sure
decided to
plenty of people would
try it
agree with
again
you.
this year. I saw Simon was coming, so I decided
Mhm.
to give it a try, and so far I haven't been disappointed.
Cool. Um, so yeah, the next act was DJ
Yes.
Demers. He was one of the acts that I was most excited to see again. So I wish we had gotten to see more of them. This was kind of disappointing.
That it was another short edit by AGT.
Yeah, and also like what we saw was not that funny according to the judges. He wasn't that funny overall. I thought it seemed like a downgrade from what we heard, but I don't know.
I'm with you. I really liked his audition. And what I saw, I thought was kind of funny. I really like that he makes fun of himself.
Mhm.
But we'll see. I'm with you. I liked him. I wish we could have got to see more of him.
Yeah. Next was another act I was very excited to see again, the Clairvoyants.
Yes, I think this is my favorite act of the entire show.
That is not a bad choice.
And I wish I would have given them the golden buzzer.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I just think what they do is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. How do they do that? That's all I have to say is how do they do that? It was a great performance.
Yes, and that's what I like about magicians. I really like magicians and illusionists. What are they called? Mentalists. It's like how do they do that? It's the whole
Yeah.
mystery behind it that really fascinates me.
Mhm. They're very convincing.
And I guess is it Simon or I guess it's Simon that's out $100.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Simon. There was a sorry. There was I guess the episode from Tuesday night where George Lopez is out $100.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think they both are. The acts, they're just robbing them left and right.
that's true. I think they're good for it though.
Yeah. So that was the last act. They were wrapped up and got to results. So just going through the results here, the first group that they called up were the two girl singers. If there were more than two, I am unaware. Sorry, and Campbell.
Yeah, I
And
have down Campbell, Ari Hill, and Avonlea.
mhm.
Yeah,
I thought Campbell was gonna take this one, and I wanted him to, but none of them went through.
yeah. I think I may have had written down that that he was going to go through as well, and I was a little surprised he didn't.
Yeah, it's a shame. We only got to see him one time, but I hope he goes far in life. I don't know. The next group they called up was John and that Strength Act lady and the Quick Change Act.
Yes, Sosa, Victoria, John, and Oksana. Yep.
I thought it was going to be Sauce and Victoria, and that's who I wanted, and luckily that is who went through.
I'm glad they went through. I wish John could have gone through, But I don't know how much further he would have gotten if he did go through. But I'm glad Sos and Victoria did go through.
Mm-hmm. Then there was the clairvoyance and the throwings.
Yes.
I thought they were both going to go through, and they did. I mostly wanted the clairvoyance, so.
Yeah, I was 100% sure the clairvoyants were going through.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been disastrous. I probably would have quit watching if clairvoyants hadn't gone through.
Another rage quit. Yeah. Um, then there was Flip and the Outlaws. I sort of thought it was going to be the Outlaws, but I wish it had been Flip.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be Flip. I didn't think it was going to be Outlaws.
Then there was the Contortionist, the Baron of the Universe, and the Shane and Shawnee. I wasn't really too thrilled about any of them, and I mean, I guess it's sort of clear that none of them were going to go through.
Yeah, I was really hoping the Baron would go through. I want to see more things that he can pull with his nipples.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a chance he didn't max that out. So, yeah, I wonder what he's doing these days.
Well, he's from Vegas, so he could be out on the strip just pulling dragsters. You don't know.
That would be cool. Um, then there was Victor and DJ. I thought it was going to be Victor based on DJ's performance tonight. I, again, wanted it to be Victor, and it was.
Yep.
And then they just brought Nathan on with his mom, and it seemed pretty clear that that was a no. I wasn't too sad about that.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet to bring the mom on just to make sure that he was going to be okay. But he seemed to handle it pretty well.
Yeah, he's pretty strong. Um, then there was musicality, and I thought they were going to go through, and I was glad that they did go through, and Simon is trash for trying to be misleading all the time. I'm getting very tired of it.
But that's kind of his thing, isn't it? Didn't he do all that all the time in Idol?
Yeah, but that just makes it even worse. Like, you can see it coming a mile away.
And if you kind of count up the acts, and you know how many have
Mm-hmm.
gone through,
That's true.
and
I didn't think about
they're
that.
the last act.
Yeah, but that wraps it up for judges' cuts. I thought that's a pretty good season so far.
Yeah, so far there's lots of good ones, and some I wish had gone through, and some I didn't think would go through, and we'll kind of see.
Yeah. Um, next week is the live shows. I don't know if either of us will be able to watch them live, but it's very exciting. Uh, that's uh that's when it ramps up.
I know I'm really excited about live shows, even though you're right, we may not get to watch them live, but we can, if you want, we can still talk about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from looking at the schedule, it looks like we're going to have 2 weeks of live shows, and then the Olympics will kick in,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll come back with the final round of quarterfinals.
Well, cool. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hopefully start voting. Um, it's gonna be good times all around. I'm not sure we know who's on next week, right?
I don't think we do yet.
Um, anyway, let's talk about those three wild card acts. If you don't want to hear them, stop listening.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
We're getting into spoilers, so drop out if you don't want to hear spoilers.
Do you have that list in front of you of who it is? I'm afraid to open up Chrome right now.
I don't, but I can get it up in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we have Steve Brundage,
I don't know who that is.
the Rubik's Cube magician.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, he is one of my favorites as well. I really like what he does with the Rubik's Cube.
Uh-huh. That was a sad cut, I thought, but
Yeah, I was a little upset about that one. So I'm glad that he's going to be able to make it back to the live shows.
mm-hmm.
The other act is Flip.
Great. I like that.
So we get another dancing group with Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
They get to go through.
That's good.
And then the last one that I don't remember is Sila Sveta.
Yeah. Oh, these were the guys who were dancing on the floor with the projections, right?
Is that who that was? I remember that. It didn't really. I guess it didn't really impact me much or stick with me much because I don't remember them. Is that similar to the act several seasons ago that used like lights and floating balls? And
Oh man, you have no idea what you've missed when it comes to this stuff. There's been so many projection acts over these last few years.
well, maybe I can find a way to go back and watch those
Yeah,
seasons
they're
because
sort of in
that
the same family though. It's the kind of the natural evolution.
okay.
So I guess these guys got cut before the judges cut. I don't understand all of
Yeah,
this.
Silas Veta. I did not see them in Judges Cut. So if this is correct, then they went from audition straight to live show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I'm glad we got to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that to my attention, and thanks for being on this episode, and hopefully many future episodes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a great time.
And to everyone listening, thanks a lot, and we will see you next week to discuss the live shows and results.